Don't we love a good open marriage regret story to start the day? Okay, so this is titled Open Marriage Backfires on My Husband. She says, this is going to be a long text. To back up this story a bit, me, a 27-year-old woman, and my husband, a 28-year-old man, have been together for 10 years, so since they were teenagers, and we were each other's first love. We have two beautiful children together. We love each other immensely and enjoy each other's company. My husband has ADHD, which he has medication for, but it does affect him, so he is more impulsive than the average person. He is also quite emotional, while I'm more rational and calm, but very sensitive. We are both very open minded when it comes to sexuality and relationships, and have been entertaining the idea of one day having an open relationship, one day when both of us are emotionally ready. Last May, my husband met a woman at work who instantly started to flirt with him. She asked for his Snapchat and they started chatting outside of work. All of a sudden, my husband started to talk more about having an open relationship, and I was not against it. I said I'm not against having one eventually when the kids are older, but at this situation in life, I feel I'm not ready. My husband convinced me open relationships are like a norm nowadays, and he really has started to be more and more convinced that he is indeed a poly and not satisfied in a mono relationship. Okay, I understand it. Let's keep on thinking about it, but I'm not ready for it yet. At this point, I didn't know about this other woman that he was having contact with. At the beginning of June, I found out about this other woman when I happened to notice she sent him a message. I was devastated and started asking him who she was. He admitted everything, how he met her at work, how she seemed very into him. He apologized and promised to work on this broken trust with me. 1 week goes by, and he tells me he is going to the bar with his best friend. That's okay. I don't want to prevent him, but I did have a suspicion. That's why I counted our condoms beforehand. We don't use condoms anymore, but we did for 2 months when I was postpartum. In the morning, there were four. When my husband was leaving to the bar, there were only three. I immediately confronted him about it. Why would he be in need of a condom? He started crying, and he was very ashamed that I found out. He admitted that this other woman invited him to go there. We almost broke up that night. My heart had been broken. We delivered our kids to their grandparents, and that night we had a serious discussion about everything. He said he would do anything to work on our marriage and that he is really sorry, but he had this weakness and felt a need to feel accepted by other women. He could not promise that he could remain faithful if we did not open our marriage. At this point, I gave in. Okay, you get what you asked for. There is nothing to lose for me anyway, since I could not trust him anymore anyway. Let's see where it goes from now on. Time goes by, and my husband goes on a date with this woman. He continues texting with her and hoping that he would get to have sex with her. I start looking for a date and very quickly find one good guy. I started talking to him every day on Snapchat and went on dates with him a few times. July comes and my husband starts suspecting his colleague might not actually be interested in him since their thing wasn't progressing anywhere. He asked her if she was just playing games on him. She admitted she is not interested and that she trolls guys to think she likes them with this flirty behavior, like a real life game that she likes to play. She is taken by another man. My husband was understandably disappointed. At the same time, I'm having a fun time with my date. My husband starts to get angry every time I ask when I can go meet him. He has started to say things like he is not sure about this open relationship anymore and that he might be too sensitive for one, but he understands this is what he wanted and lets me have my piece of the cake anyway. August comes and he said he wants to stop this open relationship. He said he's willing to work on our marriage by going to therapy to fix his own issues and wants couples therapy as well. The problem is, I don't want to stop this thing anymore. I have some feelings for this other man and don't want to lose contact with him anymore. I would feel very resentful towards my husband if he had dragged me into this and even encouraged me to look for a partner to have my own fun with, and now wants me to cut all contact with him. That's unfair. Now I feel like if we were to close this marriage again, I would be the one too tempted to cheat. I still love my husband, and there's a lot at stake because we have kids and our marriage has been nearly perfect before this. 10 years would be tossed down the drain if we divorced. I just can't trust him anymore, and I feel so betrayed. So, yeah, this is a warning example for anyone wanting an open relationship. Any thoughts about our situation? Should I accept his request that we work on our marriage? Now, this is Reddit. I do recognize and acknowledge that anything could be fan fiction, but it's Monday, and who doesn't love an open marriage regret story? So you guys can weigh in on what you think. These open marriage regret stories always end up the same way, with women having more options than the men anyway. So it's always good to relish and smile on a Monday. Rita Cow 87 says, tell him you realize you are poly and no longer satisfied with a monogamous relationship. And then the OP said, I would feel tempted to say that, but at the same time, I realize I'm an adult who is responsible for my own actions from now on. C. Jordan W. says, your husband sounds like it's all about him, and his wants. He wanted to open up the relationship, all right, but only on his end, not on yours. He's selfish and will cheat on you in the future in the second another woman shows him his interest. And then the OP says, I told him that he's selfish, and he realized that he indeed is. He said he doesn't want to be and wants to improve. Fun Diver says, one of the issues here is that both of you approached it like you were going to have relationships with other people, not just X. As someone else said, that's a poly relationship, not an open one. Catching feelings is the number one open relationship killer. Distribution Perfect says, well, he can improve then. Meanwhile, your side stays open. Blue Fleetwood says, don't hold your breath. Subject Actuator says, easy to say, harder to do. Don't waste your time with a liar who was ready to cheat on you given the chance. So this is what a few of the people are saying. I do want to know what you think. Go ahead, join the conversation. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Find Out season is still in full effect, and I saw the title of this story and I was like, y'all got to see this one too. So this was posted in the relationship advice subreddit. He says, I, 35-year-old man, cheated on my wife who's 36. She left without telling me. How can I get her back? I am literally just smiling. And literally, I don't care if this is fake. We all need this story today. He says, I know I'm aware of my faults. I know I screwed up. She and I had something beautiful. She is still the love of my life. We were together for 10 years, 2 dating and 8 married. But I made a huge mistake and cheated on her. It was just once, just one damn time. Somehow she found out. I never knew how because I haven't been able to talk to her since then. I guess she found something on my phone. I came home that afternoon as usual, and everything felt weird. The house felt emptier. I quickly realized that her things were gone. I panicked. I started calling her over and over, but the phone didn't even ring. Suddenly, I saw some papers on the table. She was divorcing me. Under the divorce papers, there was a note that said, this is what you do with cheaters. That was the last thing I got from her 2 years ago now. Of course, I called the contact information for her lawyer, who has been the only bridge between us. But he just told me that he was her legal representation and that she didn't want to see me. I fought, I got angry, but in the end, her lawyer just told me that it would be better if I got my own lawyer. I didn't want to. I absolutely refused to accept that 10 years of relationship would end like this. I know I have failed, but I always wanted to fix it. I know if she gave me the chance, I can make that sweet and special girl I met more than 10 years ago fall in love with me again. I know that I can make her forgive me. After all, many couples go through similar things and get over it. Why can't we be one more couple in that statistic? Why, after 8 years of marriage, am I thrown away like garbage for a mistake? I don't deserve so much indifference. I haven't been able to see her or even hear her voice in 2 years. 2 years of not being able to see or talk to the person you love the most is too much of a punishment. This situation has destroyed me emotionally, mentally, and even physically. I ended up consuming an unhealthy amount of alcohol, weeks of barely eating, not sleeping. I was a zombie for months. I was just functioning on automatic. I wanted to die, but I couldn't let myself die because I always held on to the hope that she would come back. My therapist says it's really hard when you can't get closure from a relationship because your mind can't process that the relationship is over. So you're always thinking that the person will knock on the door or that you'll wake up from sleep and they'll be there by your side. The divorce was finalized over a year ago. I'll be honest, I didn't make it easy. I didn't want to get divorced. I still don't understand how we can be divorced. I asked for couples therapy, but she refused. I know from my lawyer that her lawyer advised her to go at least once or twice, but she refused. It took quite a while, but the divorce happened. I can't even describe the feeling. I felt and still feel like a piece of me had been cut out. I know I hurt her. I know I failed, but I think we all deserve a second chance. When I couldn't take the pain anymore, I decided to start therapy. My therapist doesn't give me advice to get her back. He only focuses on me moving on with my life and encouraging me to meet new people and to go out on dates. But I don't want to. At this point, I'm not even interested in X anymore. A few days ago, something happened that completely shattered me. I was having a few beers with my friend at my house. Let's call him Nick. We were both pretty drunk. I started talking about my wife, and he said to me, you should put more effort into getting over her. She's over you and is happy having a life away from you. You should do the same. You can't live in this self-pity all your life. Something in his words hit me, but not in the way he expected. He spoke with a lot of confidence that my wife is over me and is happy now. How does he know that? At this point, I got angry and started pressuring him to talk. He refused. I pressed as hard as I could. I cried. I begged him to tell me something if he knew something. I needed to know something about her until he finally told me. His wife has been in contact with my wife for the last year. They were great friends. I remember Sabrina, my friend's wife, being very sad about losing contact with my wife. The thing is that my wife went to live in Norway, got married to a guy, and is 7 months pregnant. I felt like dying. I literally felt like dying with this information. How could she do this to me? How could I be that while I'm sorry, how could it be that while I was crying, getting drunk, missing her and wanting to die every day, she was happily on the other side of the world getting married and effing and getting pregnant by another guy? How could it be that she didn't have a child with me in many, many years to the point I thought she was infertile, but got pregnant by this new guy so easily? Where did this guy come from? I have no answers for absolutely anything, and I feel like I can't go on with my life without these answers. The only thing I can think of is that she had revenge X with the first Norwegian guy she came across and got pregnant and decided to keep the baby. Maybe she got married because she wanted to stay in that country legally, and I guess, like in most countries, getting married is a good option for that. I don't know. These thoughts are killing me. I refuse to think that she is in love with him. I need to contact her. I need to talk to her. I need to know what's going on because she acts like our 10-year history and 8-year marriage is nothing to her. I need advice on how to act. I feel the impulse to travel where she is and look for her. But how could I do that? I don't even know what city she's in. I don't know where she lives. I don't have a number to contact her. She closed her social media. Her family is small. They don't live in the same country as me, and all of them blocked me. I'm totally lost. I don't know what to do at this point. I still want her back. Yes, even pregnant. I feel like this is a nightmare and I need to wake up now. Okay, so he did an edit after he read the comments. He says, I read almost all of the comments, and when I say almost all, I really mean almost all. It's hard to process all the crap that's been said about me. I feel like you guys forget that you're talking to a person and not an inanimate object. I thought I just might find more empathy by sharing my story here. Just two people feeling empathy towards me, and their comment made me feel better. I'm not looking for validation or for anyone to say that what I did is okay. I know it's not, and I have to live with that daily. I will try to respond, but of course, I'll never be able to respond to all the comments over here. So, number one, I guess none of you know what it's like to have a broken heart and not be able to get over a person. You don't decide who you love, and you don't decide when you get over someone. It will happen when it has to. To those who doubt my story, unfortunately, it's real. I would love for this to be fake, but sadly, it's not, and I have to deal with this mess every day. Number three, everyone assumes she's happy now. I don't know. I mean, how do you know? I haven't seen her in 2 years. I can't have any idea if she's happier or not. Being pregnant doesn't necessarily mean happiness, and being married either. We don't really know the circumstances of this marriage. Maybe she got pregnant. Maybe she got married because she got pregnant and felt alone in a country where she has no one, and she just took hold of this other guy. Of course, I blame myself for this. This wouldn't have happened if I had been a better person and a better husband to her. But unfortunately, I can't change what I did wrong. The only thing I can do is try to make it up to her. But how do you make it up to someone who doesn't want to give you the chance to do so? Some people say she doesn't owe me a second chance. That was hard to read, but I understand that she doesn't have to. Y'all, this is long. Number four, I never openly blamed her for the infertility issues. It was just a thought. I'm not going to read the rest of that. Number five, horrible things were said, like I would hurt my ex-wife if she were here. I never physically hurt her, and I never will. Number six, some people said I never loved her, otherwise I wouldn't have cheated on her. This statement doesn't seem fair to me. You think you can kidnap the concept of love and tell another person what his real feelings are? You think you are inside my head or heart? Lastly, humans are more complex than most people here think. Just because I cheated on her doesn't mean I don't love her or that I don't have feelings. I call what I did a mistake because how else would I call it? Like I said, this was absolutely long. The first comment says, is this rage bait? If it's not, I honestly love this whole journey for you, except for being a narcissist and a stalker. And this person right here that I circled, this can't be rage bait because seeing this loser spiral has made my morning. I love a happy ending. Wishing nothing but the best for that absolute queen. And with that, I'm going to leave it because this was long, and hopefully you guys chime in on your thoughts. So this was posted in the True Off My Chest subreddit. Now, if you are coming to Reddit to ask this question less than 2 weeks before your wedding, the answer is obviously no. But she says, do I really want to marry you? The answer is probably no. She probably already knows the answer. She's just looking for people to say it for her. She says, my wedding is in 13 days. It's not the dream wedding I wanted because he didn't want to wait. It's not the dress I wanted, the date I wanted, the location I wanted. None of it is what I truly wanted. It was rush planned in a month and a half. 6 people are coming. My fiance had a paying job that he subsequently quit. So myself, with a little bit of help here and there from my family, have paid for everything. I'm sure it's all the stress, but we've been fighting so much lately that I really feel like I don't even want this effing wedding anymore. It's like he's become a different person, and I almost feel like he just wants to trap me. Friends and family all adore him. I'm so torn. There is nothing in this post that says, yes, go do it. There is nothing about this that says, go do it. This is nothing that she wants. She doesn't even have to ask us. She just needs to reread this herself. Nothing about this is what she wanted. So she needs to do the hard thing, pull the trigger and say, no, I'm not going to do this. And then let the fallout be what it is. Because she says right here, I feel like he just wants to trap me. He really feels like that. And she knows it already. We have got to get to the point where some self preservation kicks in. Do you want to be trapped with someone who will just quit their job? This is quitting your job right before you get married. Imagine him quitting his job when you're like 34 weeks pregnant and about to pop. And then he just like quits because the job sucks. How would that work out? Absolutely not. This person is unstable and financially insecure. Absolutely not. Your future will be jacked. All right, so erratic Monzon says number one, he's unemployed because he quit. Number two, he made you pay for everything. Number three, he's not the same man who proposed to you. Number four, your gut says it's a mistake. Trust your gut. The Moat Kalen made it bolder. Trust your gut. Eric 84, well, 48 says, I've screwed myself over many times over the years by not listening to my gut. Salanthus says, yeah, same. Confirmation bias is a B word with this one, though, because you will forget all the times nothing bad happened. But remember the handful of times when you listened and narrowly escaped some terrible fate, and painfully regret the times you ignored it and suffered the consequences. That being said, still trust your gut. Patty Cow says, in this case, even my gut is screaming for OP. It's much easier to walk away from a wedding than a marriage. If this is what he's like now, imagine what he'll be like when they're legally bound together. I see mountains of debt in the OP's future if she goes through with this. Um, this user likes to sing says, and if the OP lives in the US with the right wing trying to get rid of no fault divorce, it's not a good sign. Your family likes him because his mask is perfectly intact around them. Around you, it's starting to slip. Why is he needing to rush the wedding? Why did he quit his job? That one you may not want to take his word for, but that's up to you. If you confront him about any of this, please do yourself a favor and make it in public and either record the conversation or have a friend nearby. If he tends to gaslight, recording the conversation will help for you to go back and listen and know you didn't mishear him. Best of luck. Yeah, right. 228 says, agree, get out now. Even if you want to stay, postpone the wedding for 12 months. This will give you enough time to get your together and bounce. Plant Hag says, same here. The gut always knows. Majestic says, I wish I had a bunch of internet strangers to smack me silly 2 weeks before my wedding. I hear you. Absolutely. That is what she has. And that is what we're telling her. And that is what I'm telling you guys that are watching. Trust your gut. If you can list out all of this stuff, just reread it back to you. But if you need someone to say it, we're saying it. Don't go through this if you are like really disliking everything about everything. What is the point in going through with it? All right, let me know what you think about this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.